And I'm Lars.
And this is two guys talking about fantasy movies. Lars, how you doing? It is the Christmas season.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We are we're in the throes of the holiday season. Things are going great on our end. I have one more week here before a 10-day off vacation, which will be really nice.
Nice.
And Mom's out of the hospital, and that's really great news to hear. It sucks watching your parents get older.
Yes, it does.
And just thankful that she's doing better, and we're gonna get up to see them probably the tail end of my break. So towards the second weekend of the break. So closer to New Year's and stuff like that.
Right. Cool.
But yeah, we're really good. Elliot, I'll save that for when we get into the movies, since we're doing very Santa themed movies. But Lucas, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I am at the point where I've realized that there's not enough time for anything.
Yeah.
I feel like every day that I'm here, or not every day that I'm here, but I'm just constantly on a time crunch in a way that
Always.
I've never been before. Yeah. But
so is it different this year than other years?
It feels like it. Not even necessarily with the Christmas season stuff, just in general. I am constantly, I don't know, it's just hard to describe. But things are good. We're doing okay. Everything's fine. Excited to do this. Glad to get one or two more episodes out before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this time of year, I while Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Christmas, you can't not love Christmas. Christmas music, and I feel like I look good in cold weather gear.
Same.
In the jackets and the scarves and stuff like that. I love the time with family and friends, and I feel like we make such a big deal, and it's like when we were planning our wedding, we had to keep reminding ourselves that it's a party,
mm-hmm.
and we should remember to enjoy it. And I think that it gets lost sometimes, that so many, we have to do this and this and this and this and this and this and all these things, and we have to, see all these people, and it's you should appreciate seeing those people. You should be glad that you get a chance to do that. You should be glad that there's people that want to see you, mm-hmm. and that there's people that, are happy that you're around. For a long time, I wasn't in a place where I understood that. And I've fortunately taken a lot better care of myself and of others, and that's just made me far more appreciative of this year. I've kind of I was never a Scrooge or a Grinch, but I feel like my heart definitely has grown multiple sizes over this year, and that I've tried to carry out the idea of Christmas, and hold in my heart every day.
No, I get it.
Just being more appreciative of that, because it's not a guarantee, right?
Nope.
There's we are not promised another day here, so we should make the most of it. Right. And unfortunately, what we've done is we've committed ourselves to watching some pretty shitty movies.
No, we watched one amazing one.
I stand corrected. One great movie this year, and then one nightmare. And luckily, the good one, balanced all that out. Yeah. But still, yeesh. Let's start with the good one at least.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing.
Can we do that?
Yeah. So I hate the Die Hard is a Christmas movie discourse. I hate that every year.
You've mentioned that already. All right, yes.
And part of why I hate it is sometimes we are so irony poisoned. We are so we are so, as a culture, we can't enjoy anything, because if we enjoy something, that means we're childish.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is a thing I hate. And so Christmas is seen as your stereotypical Christmas movie is a Hallmark movie or for children. And so, because we have to have something for the poor, underprivileged, straight white man, because the most oppressed member of society whatsoever, the only way for them to have, it's become a thing. It's become that joke of, see, this is my favorite Christmas movie, the thing that isn't a Christmas movie. And I think we've talked about this before, Lucas, that I don't necessarily think of it as a Christmas movie.
It's more than just a movie that takes place at Christmas, though, because I actually watched it again. I always watch it every Christmas. Because one, it's a nice little palate cleanser when you are watching all the Hallmark movies.
Right.
And also, I'm putting words in your mouth, but to be fair, this is not a attack on Die Hard.
Not in the slightest.
In the slightest. Die Hard is one of the greatest movies ever made. And it is top 3 greatest action movies ever made. Like, it is objectively wonderful. But the idea of it as a Christmas movie, yes, you're right, it has kind of become a snarky response. It's one of those like, oh, well, I'm in the know and I think Die Hard's my favorite.
Right.
And it is a little bit more than a movie that just takes place at Christmas. Like, Lethal Weapon is a movie that takes place at Christmas. But there's not a lot of like, well, even that. There's Christmas trees. There's But I think when we think of like Christmas movies, there's some sort of redemptive thing that happens because of Christmas or like the magic of Christmas.
Yeah, there's the thing. There's more than just it takes place at Christmas.
Which I will say, John McClane does have some sort of redemptive arc. And it is during Christmas, and I would push back a little bit that it is not just a movie that takes place at Christmas. I still don't think it is a Christmas movie, but there is some sort of redemptive things happening there, which is just, it's good storytelling and it's good, you want your character to grow. But I think that there at least is that in there where, okay, I can see more of a case being made for it because, he is a better person at the end of the movie. And is that because he's with his wife and because he's with his wife because it's Christmas? Okay. We're kind of closer to what a Christmas movie is. I agree with you that it's still not a Christmas movie. It is one that I watch every year because after a while I can't watch another Hallmark movie. It's nice to watch an adjacent.
No, I completely understand, and I bring this up because I appreciate that they said that it seemed like there was someone said Violent Night. Let's have Die Hard. Let's have Die Hard with Santa Claus. Let's make an actual Christmas Die Hard movie.
Yeah, Santa is playing John McClane.
Exactly, and I remember being super excited for this. I remember thinking about it like this is going to be either so dumb or so brilliant, and there's going to be no in between, really. And it threads that needle pretty well.
Yeah, I would say luckily for us, it lands on the brilliant side of the scale.
Absolutely. So, what is the elevator pitch to Violent Night?
Santa, who is real. Santa is a real person in this universe. He is, and which I want to talk more about that.
Okay.
But he is real, and he is really just down on his luck. Almost like he's the hard-boiled detective or cop. He's John McClane at the beginning of the movie. He's on his last legs emotionally. He's just kind of going through the motions. He's just not inspired by Christmas anymore because everybody is terrible. Like the first scene that we see of Santa, he's in a bar getting hammered.
Right.
And again, right there, you could border on, oh, well, this is just being really snarky and like, ooh, isn't it cool that Santa is drunk? Right. No, it makes sense with the story. It makes sense with the character as they portray him. It functions. But so Santa he's downtrodden. He's just out of it. He doesn't feel Christmassy this year. And there's a family that it's kind of like the family from Knives Out and Hide and Seek, like the Follow the House of Usher, those like really rich families, and they get taken hostage over the holidays. There's this group of mercenaries come in to go rob them, and because they're super rich and they have all this money and they're locked in their vault basically. So they are the Nakatomi Plaza, and they're being hijacked, and the little girl that's there still believes in Santa. And she basically, asks help from Santa on a radio and through the magic of Christmas. And it just happens that Santa is actually at her house when this is happening. He has to go in and kill the terrorists. And that's the movie. Yeah, it's great.
There was one thing I really didn't like. There was something Victoria and I talked about this. Like, the one moment in the whole movie that I thought was a little bit much was when, it's right at the beginning, actually. He walks out the building, and the bartender's like, don't go that way. That's the roof. If you fall off, I'm gonna die. You're gonna die. Yada yada yada. I'll be liable for it. And she sees him fly off, and she's like, "Oh my God, Santa's real!" And he vomits on her. That was a little much. Yeah, that was a little much. But I was really impressed with. I love David Harbour. David Harbour's great.
He's great.
He's
Wonderful.
so good, and basically everything he does, I pop for him really hard every time, and I don't precisely know why. I'm trying to think what else I was going to say, but it works in a way that I didn't expect to work.
Right.
I didn't, and that's the big one is I didn't expect to like this as much as I did. I was really expecting something super dumb and super silly, or not even silly isn't necessarily the right word. Something really dumb is a better way to look at it.
Well, again, you say it sounds like a chucklehead film school premise.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like this should be like some sort of stupid, it really shouldn't work the way it does, and it works because Santa is treated like a real person. I mean, aside from like the little caricature moments when he vomits and all that kind of stuff, I think that's why I agree with you. I didn't respond to those moments as well because it was played up for cheaper laughs, and the times where it gets kind of quiet, that's actually the most impactful parts for me, where I really loved its treatment of like the Christmas magic, because Santa doesn't know why it works. Santa doesn't know why he's able to do the things that he does. This is just what happens.
Right.
And I really like that because it's like you're a superhero and you didn't have Professor X coming in to tell you, oh, you're a mutant and you have special abilities and I'm going to help you learn how to use these abilities. He's just a guy. Like, I can picture him just like, he was I think at one point they show him he's like a Viking, like, marauder.
Right. And that was an interesting touch, yeah.
Yeah, but that, he's this marauder, he's a Viking, and he doesn't know why this has happened. It just has. And that's, in my mind, that's what would happen if you suddenly became Santa Claus, or, you were that. You wouldn't have, like, a manual telling you, oh, hey, now you're Santa Claus. Right. No, this is just what would happen to you. And you don't know what it is. You feel this compulsion, and now you have this ability to do these things. I like that.
Yeah, me too. I love that he's really sad, but it's not necessarily he's sad. It's just that he's hurting, and that it's
because
I've been doing this for so long. I can't
find he's burnt out on it. I can't find the joy in this anymore, and it seems like the whole world's lost the joy in this. So why am I doing this still? Right,
like the montage of going around and seeing, like, there's one tree and it's just Amazon packages, and he's kind of disappointed by this, but then he goes to that, like, small one-bedroom house, and, like, there's a little girl asleep, so he gives her the present and takes drops the coal on the dad. Like, that was, that's nice. Like, there's little really good character bits, and then a Die Hard movie breaks out.
Yeah.
I love John Leguizamo. I'm so glad that he's got, like, he seems to have pushed past his, like, early 90s The Pest dumb kind of actor thing into actually being a kind of serious actor. And he's kind of menacing in it.
Absolutely.
I love how not only is there a Die Hard movie, there's also just a little bit of a Home Alone.
Yep.
And that also allows to not gross out, but, like, the same kind of cringe. When the guy walks up the stairs and he gets the nail through his mouth, hurts. Yeah.
It was fun. Again, at first, again, that premise of why is Santa, like, why is he fighting? How does he know how to do all this? And they explain it, like, he's a Norseman.
Yeah, and he's been doing this he was doing this for 1,000 years.
Right. So the fact that he knows how to do all these things. I thought the girl in it, so, the little girl that still believes in Santa, I thought that whole relationship with her and her parents was really good. It made you care for them. It made you want to see them be okay. It just got everything right, in a way that, again, it could have, you look at the poster and it's like, okay, this could be great, or it could be just, like, great for a little bit. And, like, kind of like a one-note joke, and then after that, you're just slogging through this rest of this movie.
Yep.
And, instead, you got really good character development, and, like, the little girl in it kind of renews Santa's faith in humanity and faith in Christmas. So he gets that, that arc. Yeah, Elizabeth and I love this one. This was really fun.
And it's, there's the extraction team sequence where he fights the entire extraction team. Like, that's a horror movie. Those are some really good horror movie kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the whole, like, the Home Alone sequence is fun because it's hyper violent in a kind of fun way. But it's like, I do really appreciate that they took the, what if we made an actual Christmas Die Hard movie? And I can remember when this came out, I was at work and I just heard these two dude bros complaining about it. Like, well, how could Santa fight all these guys off? I'm like, that's the point? That's the joke?
Yeah.
Like,
that's the joke. But they don't, but it doesn't just, it's not just a joke.
Right.
That's that's what actually why it works, is that it's, after a while, those kinds of things where like, oh, isn't it badass that Santa's beating people up? After a while, that would get old.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just that wouldn't make enough for a movie.
No, absolutely.
And they're smart enough to actually like, oh no, we're going to make this, like you said, a Die Hard movie, which the first Die Hard, what makes Die Hard stand above all other action movies is the humanity of John McClane. He gets hurt. He's tired. He's scared. He's alone. He talks to himself. He's not a perfect action star. And this Santa,
he's a schlubby dude.
He's a schlubby dude that just kind of, I gotta go make this work. I gotta go save some people, and he, Santa's the same way that, he doesn't really want to be doing this, but then he knows that he has to. And so, like, those moments where it gets quiet, that's what allows all of those other moments, the wilder moments, to pay off, because we have, this character that we actually believe in. Like, he's, yep, that's Santa. I'm going with it. Yep, it's okay that he's going through all these crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, just, I don't know. I was really, you mentioned this one and I was like, I'd seen it. But again, I'd seen like the preview for it. And again, I was like, oh, okay, I know what that movie's going to be. Mm-hmm. Like, I know what that movie's going to be, just stupid. And here we go. And no, it was probably one of the best holiday movies I've seen.
Yeah, it's definitely in our rotation. It's in our rotation from now on.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the other hand,
oh my God,
from the depths of
Can we just keep talking about this one? This one's really good.
I know. I agree. Let's
just go.
Okay, we'll hold off. We'll hold off for a little while then. Okay.
No, I mean it's just putting off the inevitable. But if you haven't seen Violent Night, if you thought, oh, I know what that movie is, you don't. I mean, you do. Yes, it is not. It doesn't do something crazy with its premise. It's not like it's not Santa beating people up and Santa is in Die Hard. That's exactly what this movie is, but in the best sense possible.
Yeah,
that's what that movie is.
It was not a cheap, dumb. There's like a 15-minute student film version of this, and
oh God, yeah.
And that's what I was worried this was going to be, is a 15-minute idea dragged out for 2 hours.
Yep.
And luckily, it turned out to be something much more Christmas magical.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the other hand, from the depths of 80s cocaine mountains.
So if Santa played John McClane in Violent Night, then cocaine played Santa Claus in Santa Claus the movie.
Yes.
This is Cocaine the movie.
This is... I will say this. There's one thing that I thought was okay.
Go on. I can't wait to hear that.
Okay. In the same way that Raul Julia was in a different movie in Street Fighter, Jonathan Lithgow is having the time of his goddamn life. He knows that he's in a garbage movie right now. He's just losing his mind the entire time. And everyone in this is high. Is just like railing lines of cocaine. And they even kind of play it up with like the magic cocaine dust that they give to the reindeers and stuff. I legitimately expected
Dudley Moore
or someone to like actually do a line of that at one point. Like, I thought he was gonna do a line off of 8 Hookers named Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen.
Jesus. I mean, it is a children's movie. We don't want to give an impression that like it is not a violent movie. Like, it's not. Violent Night is not a children's Christmas movie.
No.
Like, it is a legit violent movie. Right. This is actually a kid's movie that, like, this was marketed to children. Mm-hmm. But it is just vacuous and soulless. And I wanted to ask you, like, just what you thought. Like, how does this happen? How does something so bad get made? Because this was a big production. I mean, John Lithgow's a big name actor. Dudley Moore is riding off of like his success from like 10 and Arthur. Like he's a big name at that point. Mm-hmm. The Salkins. This is from Alexander Salkin, who produced a little movie called Superman, which in which the flying scenes totally Superman. That's all this.
Oh, it feels very very much like that. Like that fingerprints are there.
Yeah, but I mean, so we're not talking about, this is not an independent, shoddily thrown together movie. Like, this was a big movie.
Mm-hmm.
How does it happen that, is there no quality control while movies are being made? Like, don't people, start seeing, dailies or something and they think, ugh.
Which is funny
this is what's happening?
That a minor plot point in the movie is quality control.
Very much so.
But, yeah, no, there's no quality control to it. The plot, Santa Claus gets lost Klaus gets lost in the wilderness with his wife, gets adopted by a bunch of elves. They say you're going to live forever and you're going to give toys to children for eternity. Awesome. Cool. Right. The workshop is really magical looking. However, the costuming is garbage. Like the polka dots. What's with the fucking polka dots?
I don't know. It looked really bad.
Yeah. And so throughout the years, he gets more and more overworked because there's more people, so he hires an assistant, which is Dudley Moore, Patch, and Patch wants to modernize things, which works for a little while and then falls apart. He gets fired, and then he goes to work for the most 80s businessman who's ever 80s businessed.
Oh, totally.
And who is
like that scene. So there's a scene. So it's John Lithgow. There's a scene. It's a congressional hearing. So BZ Toys. He owns the big toy company. Like, the teddy bears are filled with glass
and nails
and nails. It's like, what cost saving measures was that? Like, I get the doll lights on fire instantly. Okay, well maybe it's just cheap material, but what's with the glass and the why is that thing?
It's like that Saturday Night Live sketch with, bag of nails, bag of screws.
Right. It was bananas. And so then Dudley Moore, he goes to work with him. And is he trying to impress Santa again? Is that what's happening, I think?
Yes.
He's trying to get back in Santa's good graces. So he thinks to do that, he'll steal the golden dust.
The cocaine.
The cocaine. And put them in lollipops. And then the lollipops make everybody fly. How was that not shut down immediately?
Right. How is that not someone show up and tell him this? Someone say, hold on.
Or how does the government not come? The government didn't come in and nope, we're taking over this. We are now using this for soldiers. You don't make this for toys anymore.
Exactly.
We own this now.
And there's that weird that there's a subplot with a child, and the child is
God, Dickensian street urchin.
Yes. And I don't really get it because it's not humanizing. It's just he's gonna take pity on this one child.
What about all the other kids that are homeless?
And I don't know. I don't remember watching this as a child. What I remember specifically, I remember one sequence, and that's when they're loading the explosive candy canes into the car. I remember seeing that as a child, and that's it.
Thankfully, this was not on rotation at the Farabee house.
That is very true.
Mom and Dad knew better.
I wish that I had gotten more of, honestly,
coherence.
Coherence, yes. Give me more of Jonathan Lithgow being absurd. That's it. That's the only part of this movie that's enjoyable, is him just gleefully, oh, the feds are here, I gotta run away. I'm gonna chew up all these candy canes and fly off into space and get sucked into the Phantom Zone.
Yeah. Well, okay, so this kind of brings me back to, so there's, Dudley Moore, the whole kind of inciting incident is that through modernization, Santa's toys are no longer great. They start falling apart. Again, begging the question, is this a universe where Santa is real?
Because they return the toys to Santa somehow.
They return the toys. It sounds like this is, and it seems like parents just know about him. So, how is that part of the Santa myth? This is the story of Santa Claus. How is that part of the Santa myth? Because, Santa's toys, they kind of suck. They're all wooden, oh, here's a rocking horse.
They're folksy.
It's like they're folksy, but it's something that I think that we've talked about previously, like that idea of if Santa is real in these movies, like in like the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, or Christmas Chronicles, any of this movie, if Santa is real, or hell, Violent Night.
Yep.
Here we go, Violent Night. Santa's real, and nobody believes in Santa. Well, then how do you explain when presents show up in the morning? How do you explain when, do all parents in the world wake up in the morning praying that somebody brought presents? Because I know I didn't put presents down there in the morning. And they're relying on this phantom that magically brings presents every year. But nope, Santa's not real. How do those two things jive?
My only reconciliation for it is that Santa brings the presents and the parents think they brought them, but I don't know. I was going to ask...
That's never explained. That's never, ever in any of these movies, that's never discussed, and it's like a glaring plot hole for me, is that shouldn't all these parents every morning wake up in horror that they have had another breaking and entering, and somebody they haven't stolen anything, and that's the only reason they haven't said anything all this time. But, yep, somebody else came in their house this year and delivered presents that their children specifically asked for, which means that this person is listening in and following their children.
Yep.
But no, Santa's not real. Like, that is mind-blowing.
Yep.
It's terrifying.
So what is so going off of this, what's your favorite play on the Santa myth? Because I've got two. Like, favorite, like messing around with it, because I've got two. So
messing around with it.
Well, I'll also... So have you ever seen Futurama? Of course you have. Everyone's seen Futurama.
I have not seen that one. Okay,
Santa Claus is a character in Futurama. They built a robotic, like, about 500 years before, like, the show starts or something like that. A company built a robotic Santa to give presents, but they set his standards way too high so that no one is on the nice list. Everyone's on the naughty list. And because he's a robot and it's Futurama, if you're on the naughty list, you get gunned down.
Gotcha.
So you have to be inside on Christmas Day, and you have to like put like a wall up on your fireplace, or else he's gonna kill you. And it's hilarious, and he's played by John Goodman.
Gotcha.
And then so it's really funny. It's just kind of tongue in cheek. And the one that I actually like the earnest Santa Claus one, like playing with the myth, is from the show called The Librarians, where have you ever seen The Librarians?
I haven't seen the show. I've seen the movies with Noah Wiley.
Yeah.
Which are fun.
Yeah, it's fun. The show continues off on it. Santa in this is played by Bruce Campbell. And yep. And so in this version, he doesn't give gifts. He spends the entire year traveling the world, helping people, and absorbing goodwill and cheer across the world. And on Christmas Eve, he explodes and pushes it back into the world. That's his gift. Okay. And I really like that. That's a nice like play on that subject. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. Like, is there a Santa interpretation like that you think is interesting or your favorite?
Actually, we rewatched the Santa Claus.
The Tim Allen movie?
Tim Allen. I actually kind of liked that one because it was a cutesy. I mean, it turns it into it's a family drama, or not family drama, like a family comedy, and that it's almost like our idea that James Bond is not really James Bond; he's just the code name, and Santa's just the guy that's doing this,
right?
And there could have been untold amounts of Santas. It's just the person that's wearing the suit. Like, you're wearing the stripes, you're in charge.
Right.
And I kind of like that. I like that idea of the person that we know as Santa might not even be the original Santa. Mm-hmm. It's just, this is the person that, that found the suit and put it on, and he had to learn how to be Santa. And, through learning to be Santa, learns the meaning of family and love and holidays and all that stuff. And I like that. I think that makes it... that was actually a fun way, and it holds up a lot better than any other Tim Allen foray into acting. But I think for Santa movie, there always is going to be a big plot hole because they're never going to come out with a Santa movie where Santa's not real, where it's the parents doing it, because they don't want to spoil that. Like, they don't want to have accidentally
killed that magic,
and kill that magic. Nobody wants to be that person. That there would be a boycott of epic proportions, right? Of that company that made that. Like, oh my gosh, you've ruined Santa for everybody. Which, spoiler alert, Santa's not real, y'all. And unfortunately, my son knows that now. He figured that out this year.
Oh, that's sad.
Which he handled it well. He wanted to make sure that he could be Santa for Eleanor.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that he did
Right.
that. But that's something that I've always thought was interesting, you know. But then, like, what then was the purpose of this movie? Like, was this was not the biography of Santa? It attempts to be.
Right.
But then, like, it doesn't. If it's going to be that, I need more explanations of how does the Santa powder work. Like, we get more of an explanation from Elf than this movie. Like, and it's just like kind of a throwaway line in Elf, but like the reindeer runs on Christmas magic. Everybody knows that. Okay, great, good, got it. You know, I want more of those kinds of little touches. Like, you know, oh, you look good in red. That's why his costume is red.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but that was really all that there was. We didn't really get a bunch of other stuff. We didn't get why it's, you know, you leave out cookies. You know, we didn't get why does he laugh like that. We didn't get... Santa's really kind of a backseat character for much of the movie.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like because it's Patch and BZ for
right, or Joe and like the little girl, and it's like, well, why are we having all of these? Isn't Santa enough? Isn't Santa enough, Lucas? Why can't we have, if it's a Santa Claus movie, just primarily be about Santa having an adventure?
Yeah.
And instead, we have this just rambling nonsense, and oh my god, that was a slog.
Yes, it was.
That was a slog to watch.
We were decorating our tree while watching it, and that was tough. This one was tough. I don't know what.
Just soulless. And I'm so glad that it bombed. Like, this is a soulless cash grab that grabbed no cash.
Yes. It's Deathstalker, but he stalks no death.
He stalks no deaths. It's just it I don't know. I again, because of the pedigree, and I'm not saying like the Salkins were these incredible film folks, but they made real movies.
Yeah.
They made big movies. Like Superman, I think we've gone through the glut of Marvel movies for so long that we kind of forget that, you know, for a long time superhero movies or superheroes that, you know, comic books were kids stuff.
Yep.
And it wasn't a given that if you made a Superman movie that people would go see it.
Right.
And they made a movie. Well, and obviously it's Richard Donner and that performance from Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman and Margot and all that kind of stuff. So obviously it's not just he, you know, as a producer he made the whole thing, but you would believe a man could fly, and that was a big deal, right? Like that was a huge movie. So how could you just think, oh, we're going to do the same thing but with Santa Claus? I don't understand it. I do not get it. Yeah. And it was just made me want to be Jewish.
It just rambling incoherent mess powered by cocaine. As I said, the only thing that I liked about that was Jonathan Lithgow realizing I am in a terrible movie right now, so I'm gonna ham this up as much as possible. I want to see him like a years later sequel of him still flying out in space
with aliens.
And
then the aliens have to come back and fight Santa.
And he has to they have to fight Santa, and he also has to I don't know, he gets a defense contract because he's clearly like corrupt businessman.
Right.
We watched this while we were putting up our tree, and like just occasionally the things the big takeaways that we kept having every couple of seconds are, this is the worst costume decisions I've seen in a movie in a long time.
I would have stopped putting my tree up. I just would have thrown. I'm glad that we've at least decorated, because this completely was anti-Christmas. You know, Fox News says that there's a war on Christmas. Yeah, there is. It started back in 1985 with the Santa Claus movie. That was the opening salvo.
Yeah, I can see it.
Where we have diametrically opposed movies here on where they'll fall on our list.
Yes, because I have one that I really enjoy and I watch again every year, probably for a while. Yep, and then I don't ever want to see this again. I will talk about this in hushed tones and like a cursed Santa film.
Yeah, I will not subject my children to this. This will never happen again.
Let's start with Violent Night. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So my thought is this. With Violent Night, because I'm scrolling pretty high up. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking I'd put it between A Knight's Tale and Beowulf.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Klaus. Klaus was hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah,
that is a perfect movie. So like, when you get into like the top 10, like no, we're not touching that. And I think I still enjoy Robin Hood, Aladdin, Sleeping Beauty, Encanto, Time Bandits, Pirates of the Caribbean. Now we're gonna like A Knight's Tale. Yeah, I enjoy Knight's Tale more.
I can watch A Knight's Tale at more times during the year.
Yes, agreed. But I think I'm going to definitely watch it every year. I'm not going to watch Beowulf again for like a long time. For a while, I'm going to watch Violent Night again, hands down.
Absolutely. I am glad it's getting a sequel. I hope that they do it well.
Can they do it in the airport? Can they just like start aping all of the Die Hard plots?
Oh God,
that would be the series?
Good. Oh,
and like the third one, Samuel Jackson's in it.
They
need to like actually do Die Hard. The whole Die Hard series, only John McClane is Santa,
and do like the last two of them actually good.
Right. I'd watch Die Hard again if they remade them with Santa Claus. That's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. So that's good.
Scroll to the bottom.
I already have. I'm gonna say something, and I don't know if I feel good about this because Santa Claus the movie might actually be worse than Clash of the Empires, Lord of the Elves, because that was profoundly uncomfortable. But at the same time, I don't know how to describe it. Like, this was a movie that was nonsense.
I'll tell you why. It's worse than Clash of the Empires because Clash of the Empires didn't have any money.
Yep.
And it showed, but it didn't have any money. So you knew what you were buying. This movie had a ton of money, and what we got was a complete misunderstanding of the Santa Claus character and what he stands for and the miracle of Christmas and what Christmas is all about. It was a fundamental blowing of that.
I can completely... We're on the same page there.
Did we find a new bottom?
I think we did. I think we really did.
Oh, it's a Christmas miracle.
Is it?
Good.
Is it really?
It is. It's a great day when we can find one of the extremes.
Yep.
On this list, yes, I think this is a good day.
Okay.
So, Merry Christmas,
you
Lucas,
filthy animal.
You filthy animals. Where can folks find us?
We can be found on basically any streaming service: Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, whatever you want to do. Our theme song, Godwin Road Trip, is created by the incredible William Boyd. You can find her at Here Lies Little on Twitter.
Our artwork is done by the incredible Wes Forbes. And send us your recommendations and your thoughts. In the new year, we're hoping to do a lot more of these. We want to hear from you. Is there a movie that we have just not gotten to yet, and you've been like, what the heck? Why didn't they watch this one?
Exactly.
Let us know. We've got a lot of movies to watch, but we want to start with the ones that you'll actually listen for. So drop us a line and let us know what you want to hear about.
Have a good night, everyone, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. We will see you again sometime soon.
Merry Christmas, everybody.